What does the progress of a cosmic civilization rely on? It's a bonus. Point to tradition, point to soaring, point to technology, point to philosophy, point to trend. At least. That's what players think. The stars descended upon the blue star, marking a change in the course of civilization. Stars, why are they gods? Wang Hao looked at everyone present and asked. Coach, because of love and peace, a clever little ghost answered first. Very good, next one. Wang Hao raised his finger to move towards the next player. Chuanxing is a great game for all ages with a score of 7+. Next. 1 core is difficult, 7 cores are watching. Say something about the game. Good coach. Chanting begins, purifying heretics, enslaving aliens, exploding celestial bodies, neutron annihilation, angel of peace, doomsday judgment, extermination of wild space animals, tomb raiding, demolition, monopolizing markets, hunting, sublimation, bioelectricity, suppressing AI uprisings, and destroying ancient empires. Love and peace. The chant ends, keywords of the novel. Starry Civilization. I loaded mod without pop-ups, Starry Civilization. I loaded the full MOD TXT collection download, Starry Civilization. I loaded the latest chapters of mod to read. Chapter 1 Civilization Game. Stars. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1 Civilization Game. Stars. The second world is the virtual online world of Blue Star, created by virtual immersive technology that emerged a century ago and embedded in the technological and cultural mechanisms of civilization. With a century of technological iteration, immersive virtual networks have gradually integrated functions that could have been achieved by computers and smartphones. In addition, Second World also shoulders the responsibility of logging into the Stars channel. A year ago, the Blue Star Civilization officially developed the technology of interstellar navigation, marking their promotion from a native to an interstellar civilization. But this joy did not last long, and the accompanying announcement of the Stars was everywhere, broadcasting the cruelty of cosmic competition to the human civilization that had just entered the interstellar space. The surreal game developed and published by an unknown pioneer civilization will replace all interstellar warfare behaviors between civilizations. The winner takes all, and the loser kneels and licks is the only law of the jungle here. Each civilization will randomly select 100 million players to form a personal force in the game. The selected individuals, except for a small portion, will be able to hide themselves, while the majority will integrate into the Blue Star to form a collective. Players are scattered around the corresponding coordinates of blue stars in the starry universe, showing a uniform distribution. The universe of the stars is no different from the real universe, and the star systems occupied by players correspond to the real star systems, which will belong to the Blue Star Civilization. Members within civilizations assume a neutral attitude, while different civilizations assume a hostile attitude. In the game, each player's influence is an independent cosmic civilization, and the subjective actions of the civilization are mostly controlled by the player. The death of players in reality will lead to a significant decline in the civilization of the stars, and the destruction of civilization will also strip players of their identity. Until the player quota is replenished and drawn again. For civilization, the stars represents the rise and fall of survival. But for Wang Hao and most players, the stars also represents wealth, reputation, privileges, lifespan. In 2201, the journey of Blue Stars had just begun. The Star Forum area is crowded with people, with semi-transparent figures filling the empty streets. Wang Hao has already experienced the consequences of not activating personal mode. You can see countless people moving in and out of your body every second. At the end of the line of sight in front of you is a huge promotional advertisement, filled with slogans for defending the country. Not only on social media channels here, but also on text-based forums, the selection of continents is sorted by the most popular, and the player summoning order for the solar system is also placed at the top. Every man is responsible for the downfall of the country. Joining the federation of players, defending the nation. Shit, the soul chicken soup is not just for players to report to the federal government and accept unified management. Wang Hao silently sneered twice, and naturally he had also read this summoning order. To be honest, he didn't feel much. It's not that the rendering power of the copy is weak, there are not enough benefits, or the Republic is on the brink of collapse. Civilization has just stepped onto the stage of the galaxy, showing a thriving, enterprising attitude. Not to mention the unity of all, at least prosperity is possible. The real reason for his insensitivity is he is not an authentic Blue Star Civilization person, but a traveler. There is no truck driver who can catch up with year-end performance, let alone a computer virus that makes him choose yes or no, he just no reason. I played a game with 10,000 stars, why did I die suddenly? I haven't finished playing a game yet. Wang Hao still can't believe it. He only played one game, and even died suddenly before finishing a game. He didn't even touch any other elements of time travel. In his previous life, he lived in Heb province on Earth, never smoked, and even tasted alcohol. Go to bed at 11 p.m. and ensure a full 8 hours of sleep. Drink a glass of warm milk before bedtime, do 20 minutes of eye exercises, and then go to bed. You can basically sleep soundly until noon the next day. Like a baby, don't leave fatigue and stress until tomorrow, just welcome the next tomorrow. I have never had a health check because I believe I have always been normal. Playing games is not limited to winning or losing, not entangled in rules, and will not attack enemies that I cannot solve. Because my love for games comes from the bottom of my heart, games only serve as leisure and entertainment for me. As is well known, time always passes quickly when people are happy, and their happy time only lasts a little longer. Is it reasonable for people like this to play games for a while and suddenly die? But even though he was dressed, he couldn't find the garbage dump to return this orphanage child, so he could only live with tears in his eyes. If there is anything that Blue Star likes, it is the excellent social welfare supported by the abundant productivity of interstellar society and the rapid development of virtual network technology due to the increasing spiritual needs. For example, Wang Hao's gaze was now scanning through the titles, filtering out information within the game, constantly sighing in his heart. I'm afraid not all of them have become a national activity. People from the solar system won't come to watch the excitement, will they? Total number of forum posts. 1.3 billion plus a continent. 200 million plus. Wang Hao has been in the second world for 7 hours and has been wandering around forums and chat groups since the morning, constantly thinking about the stars. He is also one of the lucky ones among 100 million players, and the game he played before his sudden death in his previous life happened to be called Stars. It's too arrogant to believe that there must be a relationship between the two with full confidence. Let's be open. The Blue Star Civilization Stars has been unlocked for over 3 hours now, so it doesn't matter if you enter later. 3 hours ago, you entered the game on time and disappeared from the second world, indicating that you may be a player, although there is no evidence. By absorbing more experiences shared by others, I will have an advantage in the beginning. Continuing to scroll down the popular posts on Continent A, an official post titled, Analysis of the Origins of the Star Game, came into view. That's it. Is it an official sticker? As Wang Hao delved deeper into his reading and understanding, his expression gradually became strange. The last time I saw these things, it must have been my senior. Last time, right? Wang Hao, who was unsure if he really had ears across the internet, changed his tone with caution. Although it's unlikely, it's better to be cautious to avoid being mistaken for a second-year junior. Prosperous unification. Mechanists, coevolutionary, the seed of life. After more than 20 years, he still hasn't completely forgotten what he thought before his death. Isn't this a group of stars that died suddenly from leisure? I thought it was just the same name. Wang Hao kept roast in his heart. Is this plagiarism? Is this definitely plagiarism, copying P Society's donkey? It's a bit hard to imagine after a rough review. The content of the post is mainly explaining the steps for players to start a role civilization, including a series of origins organized by the poster, K-style dishes. That's right. The way for players to gain civilization is not by customizing presets, but by randomly drawing lots. Posting on external forums is clearly intended for players to watch, with the suspicion of phishing, but it does not hinder him, an ordinary person who watches the excitement, from watching. That's right, it's normal for ordinary people to be curious about the stars, it's just plain. But these origins, it's both rare and ordinary, even the prosperity of unification needs to be boasted about. Wang Hao knew very well in his heart that with the series of materials and evidence that the poster quickly produced, he was likely an official player. Fast speed means there is someone behind it, small quantity means there are still many hidden secrets, and there are definitely more rare origins that have not been mentioned. No sincerity. Unconsciously scrolling up and down the post, suddenly the label, live streaming stars, appeared next to the main avatar. And live streaming. Is this advanced civilization's surreal game so down to earth? Wang Hao's face paused, obviously a little surprised. So. Go inside and take a look. Nowadays, game information is a seller's market, so it's better not to have such high demands for free prostitution. Reminding himself in his heart, Wang Hao quickly clicked on it despite feeling disgusted. Enter the live broadcast room. Gudu enters the live broadcast room. Enter the live broadcast room. Joining the live broadcast room amidst countless user IDs, Wang Hao's virtual world was immediately loaded from the outdoor forum scene into this room. A default preset bedroom scene, this is a style inherited from the previous life. The electrical style of a century ago combines with the modern science fiction style of the 23rd century. On the wall screen, in the middle of the live broadcast screen is a man, who is the poster of Kexi Cuisine. The background is a starry sky adorned with galaxies and nebulae. Wang Hao has already learned about this in other posts and knows that this is the opening interface of a group of stars, with a standard dynamic 3D Starry C. The live stream opened in the game. How did he do it? Wang Hao was a bit curious about the first person to eat crabs, whether it was the method or the outcome afterwards. The popularity of live streaming is also increasing rapidly, perhaps because the platform is constantly recommending and attracting traffic. After a little debugging, Kusher Kai officially started the live broadcast. Hello everyone, as you can see, I am a player. He pointed to the starry background in the distance. Now it's in the game. In response to Blue Star's player assistance regulations, I have specially prepared a brief introduction and suggestions for the opening process. Interested parties can follow my ID and check it on my dynamic homepage. Kexi Cuisine always wears a smile throughout the entire process and is not polite in attracting traffic to its posts. Without further ado, let's get to the point directly. After all, the federal government is quite good to our player community, and the welfare benefits are very good. They don't force us to do anything. The barrage in the live broadcast room is very dense, indicating that everyone is very interested in the stars. Live for 5 minutes, 4 minutes for debugging, and then Wang Hao saw someone flying a large SC message directly. Lactose rewarded SC *100, lactose message. Anchor, how did you live stream in the game? Didn't you say that the sensory speed in the game is faster? It seems to be influenced by the impact of the large reward, and the smile of the K Cuisine is even more brilliant, like a sunflower facing the sun. After a moment of gratitude, BGM tightened her expression and gradually answered the audience's questions as her attitude and appearance became more serious. As is well known, The Stars was produced by an unknown pioneer civilization, and for us it can be said to be full of black technology. The time flow inside and outside the game varies, and with this difference, we can even live a day as if it were a month. There is a requirement for transparency in the announcement of The Stars regarding civilized warfare, which naturally allows others to check the time flow and watch the live broadcast, provided that the player is willing to open the live broadcast. If other players are interested in live streaming, they can download it from our unofficial website produced by Blue Star. Of course, you can't find the real official website either. Kushitsai made a playful joke and waved his hand to continue uncovering the face of the civilized game. Now, let's all follow me on a journey of civilization to the stars. Newcomer's new book, seeking recommendation and collection. Wise P Player plus 1000. The worldview of this book is, The Stars, a Space Opera, end of this chapter. Chapter 2. Being a fallen dog is the greatest honor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Being a fallen dog is the greatest honor. Firstly, we have entered the selection of civilized species. The role played by players in the game is actually the embodiment of civilization, rather than a specific leader of a particular person. In NPC's eyes, we are the projection of the concept of civilization in the material universe. Kexi Kai explained to the audience while displaying a mouse to facilitate others to understand his operations. Starry warmth. I see, I thought players had to deal with a civilized government every day. Jojo Die, upstairs, you're thinking of Reach. Chuanxing is not a civil servant training class. Abstract painter who can't hold on to the canvas. I only care if civilization is real enough, and if possible, I want to learn techniques for holding onto the canvas from other civilizations. Garden Baby. Me, isn't the selected player driving 30 times the speed to become a doctor? Dove Spirit. Do players still need to be doctors when they become a group of stars? Seeing the issue discussed in the barrage, Kushitsai shook her head and said. A speed difference of 30 times can indeed achieve unimaginable limits within the game. But this is a Blue Star war game, and the player's portrayal of the civilization is only new to the interstellar stage. We only have 240 days, which is 20 years of protection time in the game. If we cannot show our threat to the outside world, we may soon be left with nothing to eat within the stars. Kushitsai pointed to the huge dice in the starry sky and explained. This is the beginning of everything, some jokingly call it Schro Dinger's goddess of fate. Before you roll the dice, you can never guess whether it will be the goddess of fate's bare feet or slaps inside. Maybe even the XP system can respond. Kushitsai smiled and moved the mouse over the dice. The dice fiercely attract the surrounding starlight to rotate, accelerating, flipping, and blurring until the naked eye cannot capture the motion of the object, like a still starry sky covered with static shadows. Species appearance. Human, optional, role's first step in creating their own civilization is to choose the appearance of the species. We can only choose our own race, and similarly, other civilization players we may encounter in the future must also have their own main species. Of course, we do not exclude the existence of special circumstances. Kexi Cuisine not only satisfies everyone's curiosity about the stars, but also brings explanations. Gudu rewarded SC*1, Gudu. Anchor, are there any data differences or bonuses between different species? It was Wang Hao who asked this question, and in terms of his understanding of games, he may have far surpassed others due to his past life memories. But he wants to hear the opinions of other player groups. This K-style dish is clearly being pushed out, and there may be a lot of private goods. Kushitsai thanked 1SC as usual. That's a good question. With civilization and race, there will be differences between different races. We directly choose humans for appearance and then move on to the next step of racial traits. After choosing a race, the portrait representing humanity shattered into fragments and was sucked into the back of the panel. Characteristic. Role, this is the trait random interface after selecting a race, and the next step is to rely on luck. As for the question asked by this good netizen, I will explain it directly with examples, allowing me to wash my face and take some time for mystical studies. After finishing this sentence, the corresponding props appeared for the K-style dishes, including a pool of spring water, a table, and a deck of cards. 114514, isn't it? It's already 2201 years, and the anchor still wants to teach metaphysics. GGAD. Yes, it's better to find a boyfriend for comfort. Brother, what's wrong with you? I'm a bit nervous, isn't it? I'll have to take a gamble on luck for the next few steps from here, even if there's one more trait and a little bit of improvement, it's good. Kushitsai noticed the gradually strange barrage and interrupted the conversation with a light laugh in time. Previously, many companions drew negative traits and started without a national ideology, crying and shouting that if they had known before the draw, they should have been dressed in women's clothing and dancing. Anyway, no money, just comfort yourself a little. Kushitsai devoutly extended her head into the spring water and slowly placed her hands together in her lower abdomen. Is this a bit Xuanxue? Is just Xuanxue, and Wang Hao needs to have a pilgrimage-like expression, leaving him speechless in his heart. If it weren't for the face of the live streaming stars, he would have directly sent a one-click 3 combo. Report, choose reasons, and spread superstitions. Sword Saint Magician. I secretly told the anchor that in fact, women's clothing is the standard posture for getting out of Africa and entering Europe. Kitchen God and Magic Mage. Tell me upstairs secretly that fencing in Magic Age with me is actually more exciting than live streaming. Brothers, do you want to join us? I majored in kitchen knives and lit the holy light. Sword Saint Magician. Friend private chat, my major is soft sword. The Ku-style dishes, who were still performing their mysterious rituals, did not pay attention to the detachment behavior of the bullet screen. From the face to the mind, after consciously bathing thoroughly, Kushur Kai drew out his lucky card again. Red Peach 2. It should be a good omen. Kushur Kai quickly wiped the sweat from his palms and quickly felt the reality within the stars. The second world can simulate the feeling of sweating in his palms. Taking a deep breath, my mind focused on the mouse and quickly poked, roll. This is my last ripple. Hope and miracles exist. With a puffing card declaration, the golden light diffused on the screen, covering the original picture, and 2 numbers emerged from virtual to real. Green 2 appears on the left side of the screen and red 1 appears on the right side. 2 positive traits. Kushitsai let out an excited scream and danced towards the audience, pointing towards the screen. Do you see, 2 positive traits? As long as the negative traits are not particularly bad, then I'm earning blood. Mao Yuyu. Although I don't know how much European you are, I'm going to curse you a European dog just because of your insane behavior. Kong Bingan. Animal. What did you fall for? Wang Hao, who was watching the live broadcast, looked puzzled. Why is this K-style dish so exciting? Is the opening of the stars so strict that even the probability of a positive feature being given is very low? Wang Hao felt like he had grasped the train of thought, starting with a random rather than a custom civilization template, and may even be completely random to a negative template. What about the following planet preferences, origins, trends, and national beliefs? Is the good or bad start really solely based on luck? Is it better to buy a set of women's clothing as early as possible? Oh, forget it, it's really a luck game. Wang Hao felt quite helpless, he didn't feel how lucky he was. In his past life, he knew the importance of starting with the stars, and luckily there would be many habitable planets nearby. The operating population quickly increased and coincidentally, within the stars, population is the primary productive force. Take a closer look and learn about the steps. During the live broadcast, Nikkei noticed his ape-like appearance and quickly calmed down, pretending to have an expressionless expression to examine his own traits. Gentle. The individuals of this species are easy to manage and organize, they are more friendly and willing to cooperate. Effect. The size of the empire from the population decreases, traditional. These species, due to certain aspects of cognition, place particular emphasis on historical research and ethnic unity. Increased cohesion in job production, resettlement. This species has a history of resettlement and its population is very unwilling to move away from the place of growth. Effect. The population growth caused by migration decreases, the cost of forced migration increases, it was a rare encounter, and the traits extracted were quite good. The bonus of gentle and traditional to actual civilization is not just a description of the effect. Next is the name, Kexi Kai Star, Kexi Kai Galaxy, and the player ID is Kexi Kai, which will be based on the ID before entering the star group. Kexi Kai paused for a moment on the next interface and personally clicked on the ID, immutable information, explaining it to the audience. In the stars, the ID name is like the player's real name and cannot be changed. However, things like the Empire name and the player's in-game channel name can be changed. But remember not to make random changes. As an additional instruction, Kexi Kai then clicks on Next again to enter the key, Origin, interface. Next, we move on to the most important part of the origin. Our most common origin is called Prosperity Unification, and about 70.8% of people have followed it. But common does not necessarily mean weakness. The effect of Prosperity Unification is to provide additional population and home planet zoning. When the level of technology is comparable, population is the primary productive force. Other professions such as mechanics may provide additional mechanical personnel, supporting technology and equipment. Although the number of mechanical personnel is large, the quality of the population is relatively poor, making it unsuitable for most professions. And as I mentioned in my post about coevolution, seed of life, apocalypse, void dweller, standing on the shoulder of giants, Tiant's revolution, the origin of the vast majority of people has a positive buff, and some extremely unlucky people have the origin of doomsday is coming, which can be roughly understood by the name, hoping that people will be okay, Starry Warmth. I hope people are okay, Star Destroyer 59. Hope people are okay plus 00. Speaking of blessings, Kushitsai unconsciously raised the corner of her mouth when she saw the barrage. Watching others suffer has always been a great source of human pleasure. Except for a few extremely lucky and unlucky people, the difference in the beginning of each origin is actually not significant. The recent European-style cuisine does not seek extravagance or prosperity, nor does it want to trade lifespan for miracles, only seeking stability. A prosperous unification would be good. Kushitsai gave herself a hard push, poked the dice again, and a layer of gold jumped out of the screen, gradually making the picture clearer. What about the completely unseen origin background? It's not a picture of prosperity and unity like the city skyline, nor is it any origin he has ever seen. The scene is below a tall tower, with 3 tall extraterrestrial creatures staring around, unable to understand their expressions. 2 creatures resembling upright otters leave dejected. Ancestors' children. A lost empire intervened in the development process of this civilization for thousands of years, leading them onto the path chosen by the lost empire. Effect. Became a vassal of the lost empire at the beginning of the game. Political trends have been locked in. Puff. After seeing the word vassal, Kushitsai fell directly into the starry sky, her eyes dull and devoid of affection. Done. Although I don't know what the lost empire really is, since it's all lost, how strong can it still be, let alone becoming a vassal, turning a deaf ear to the barrage of bullets constantly passing in front of him? There is no need to think about it. There is little comfort, and it is likely that he will be the majority who gloat and tease him. Having received such a unique origin, Kexi Cuisine feels like the whole sky has collapsed. Star Destroyer 59. Look, brothers, there's a dog here. Dog head. JPG, Jojo de. How could anyone treat aliens like dogs? Joker. JPG, Kong Yiji. Kexi Kai. I'm so foolish. I only know someone else is the origin of the debuff. Laughing to death, Gudu. Being a fallen dog is the greatest honor. Dog head. JPG, end of this chapter. Chapter 3. Dice. Don't even want dogs. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 3 Dice. Don't even want dogs. The audience thinks they are having fun, but in fact, the real fun is being gloated at by them. Wang Hao left the live broadcast room of Cuisine with a complex mood. How about paroxysme? With a smile, she started crying. From the lack of understanding of the random nature of the roll trait, to watching the origins of the K-style dish roll. As the joke goes, it's a great honor to be a fallen dog. Wang Hao has already planted a lemon tree in his stomach. The Lost Empire, also known as the Fallen Empire, was born from other generations of interstellar civilizations, a civilization that flourished and declined under extreme glory. Over the long years, civilization has lost its morale, members have become addicted to enjoyment, and civilization has become indifferent to the outside world. After the civilization of the same era almost disappeared, corruption no longer participated in the affairs of the galaxy, abandoned most of its territory, and isolated itself in a corner of the galaxy. The new civilization is powerless to provoke the demonic empire, and other depravities have no intention of establishing galactic hegemony. In this case, the Lost Empire is the sweeping monk and uncrowned king in the corner of the galaxy. The origin of Cuisine, the descendants of its predecessors, became a fallen vassal. According to the description of the origin, Cuisine civilization embarked on the path chosen by the Lost Empire. This is not the rigid coloring game of the previous life. The value of surreal games cannot be expressed by the number of likes. Fallen Father occasionally sends fleets, technology, and resources to his vassals. The person who fights against the corrupt younger brother will face the hostility of corruption, which can be considered as the treatment of a son. Even if the fleet sent is not a degenerate regular fleet, it is not something that only players with basic T1 level technology can fight against. Moreover, the greatest advantage of the origin of the descendants of our ancestors is not that they have fallen and given gifts, but that they have climbed onto the fallen thighs. If other young civilizations come to pay their respects, the corrupt will ignore them. But Kexi sent a message and fell into depravity, showing a loving mother's smile and allowing herself to act coquettishly. Wang Hao gave a fierce punch and shook away the image in his mind. Strange, it's like being single for over 40 years and seeing men with clear eyebrows and beautiful eyes. But no matter what, this Cuisine dish is bound to become a masterpiece in the future. The civilized political system is locked in by the corrupt empire, and the ideological trend is dominated by extreme idealism and authoritarianism. The national concept is the combination of noble duty and corvée system, a fairly excellent opening, with at least one extreme trend and one ordinary trend, equals 3 points of thought, and 2 complete national ideologies. Unlike some unlucky individuals who randomly come to a certain ideological point, the lower limit of civilization with a national ideology of 0 cannot be said to be ordinary, it can only be said to be without characteristics. From the trend of thought, it can be seen that the corrupt empire of extreme idealism is leading the civilization of Cuisine. Retrieving his thoughts, Wang Hao once again marveled at the luck of Cuisine. I don't know what I'll follow. If I'm not lucky, I'll have to fight early. I feel like a balance constantly swaying left and right in my heart, fighting early, farming early, only one can choose between the two. The development speed of the centrist cannot match anyone, falling behind will result in being beaten. Thinking at high speed, recalling the content of 2 generations of stars. Early warfare refers to taking advantage of the small gap in the beginning of each civilization, fully developing the fleet, relying on war behavior to eat the enemy's population, and using war to support the snowball. Wang Hao is not sure if this is really a good idea. The biggest problem is the description of the Milky Way star map on the forum. Even if it is uniformly distributed, the distance between players is calculated based on tens of light-years. I couldn't even find it in the first few decades, let alone the war dragging on for so long. Another question is whether the malicious annexation of one's own civilization will be attacked by other players from Blue Star. Forget it, let's take a step and see what happens. In advanced games, we ultimately need to consider the results of the roll before considering countermeasures. Fallen father, lost empire. Fallen, take me away. I really want to eat the soft rice of the fallen lady. Freedom and sincerity are precious, and luck is more valuable. If it is a soft rice, both can be thrown away. After checking the operation of the game cabin after exiting Second World and confirming that everything was in good condition, Wang Hao returned to Second World again. He is ready to enter the stars. Stellaris. Start up. With a silent cry in my heart, I entered the stars without a trace, and the original community status quickly faded from online to offline. When Wang Hao opened his eyes again, the surroundings had already turned into starry sky. Is this the scenery within the stars? It's really magnificent. But the universe in front of us is not just a simple Milky Way scenery composed of starry sky, nebula, and Milky Way, like Kexi. Dust and meteorites covering the horizon, with dense debris scattered throughout the starry sea. A black body-like sphere in the distance is eye-catching, and the accretion disk glows brilliantly. Without a doubt, it is a black hole. The black hole has wingspans on both sides and has a slightly tilted shape overall. It's the dominant battleship. Seeing the iconic wingspan shape instantly reminded me of memories deep in my mind. Only battleships of the dominance level possess this special form. One of the ultimate weapons that brings together the pinnacle of civilization, technology, and combat capabilities, carrying the concept of changing warfare. The debris and dust that fell from the starry sea were a part that overflowed from the shattered ruler, like a shattered continent in the starry sky. The black hole occupies the center of its dominance, whether it is caused by unknown enemy weapons or a celestial body formed after the destruction of the dominant core. After being stunned by the wreckage of the battlefield in front of him for a long time, Wang Hao finally reacted. So, where are my dice? The lonely battlefield remained unresponsive for a long time, and the distant outpost lights, which had not been devastated, lit up and down with each breath. The dice for the opening roll are missing. Silence is the only feedback from the world to him. After waiting for a long time, Wang Hao felt like he was not feeling well anymore. There was no button to start the game, nor any other panel. Panoramic screenshot, recording status. Stars, creating civilization, attached message. Unique star opening interface. Envy it, dice for it. Save your personal photo album. Wang Hao calmly and expressionlessly gazed into the distance. There's nothing bad, just not thinking too much, so. I sent it. After watching the scenery for a few minutes like this, I don't know if it's an illusion. Wang Hao always felt that this group of stars was a bit stuck in the frame. Ding. Mod has been loaded, welcome players Gudu to Stellaris. The sudden prompt interrupted Wang Hao's contemplation on whether there was a CPU zero strike in surreal games. Wait. Stellaris. Isn't this the English name for the stars in the previous life? You should know that the Blue Star Civilization only has one language, so there is no English name Stellaris for the stars. Can you say it's a golden finger? But is this kind of thing really something that an ordinary person like me can hold? A reassuring interface for creating civilization emerged in front of me, with no huge dice, only two options. Random, and new. Obviously, there has been an unknown change in the game. New. Must be created, random. Dice. Don't even want dogs. However, Wang Hao, who entered the next race interface, did not see the familiar human race. There are all kinds of beautiful girls. The anime concentration explodes, and there is no normal race at all. It's a cute bag. I added a cute bag in my previous life. If it is found that the main species of civilization is anime, those LSPs will not really think that there are anime species in the galaxy. Shouldn't it be, wouldn't it? Wang Hao rubbed his hands with some uncertainty. The various beautiful girl races include. Humanoid organisms, machinery, mammals, reptiles, birds, arthropods, mollusks, fungi, plants, rocks, undead species, and aquatic species. Is there no room for normal racial choices? Wang Hao looked up and down but couldn't find a normal human appearance. Only the most astringent and upright race can be selected within humanoid organisms. Appearance is not important, it still depends on traits. Moving on to the next step, dozens of racial traits are listed on the panel. Trait points. 2. After some hesitation, he selected 2 positive traits and 2 negative traits. Positive traits consume trait points, negative traits increase trait points, and 1 increase and 1 decrease in trait points just runs out. Intelligence. The brain of this species is very developed, and they can easily accept the rapid scientific progress, effect. An increase in research points for job production, rapid reproduction. This species has a shorter reproductive cycle, resulting in rapid population growth, effect. Population growth rate increases, splendid. This species seems to have no concept of frugality and prefers meaningless consumption, effect. Population consumption of consumer goods increases, slim. The body of this species is weaker than that of ordinary creatures, making it impossible for them to become excellent warriors, effect. Army damage reduced, labor population resource output reduced. There is nothing to say about the 2 positive traits. Intelligence is beneficial for climbing the technology tree, with unknown but definitely significant actual bonuses, consuming 2 special points. Rapid reproduction is beneficial for population growth, as population is the primary productive force. Encouraging fertility should start with genes and consume 2 specific points. All of them are top-notch talents in farming. Add 1 trait point to each of the 2 negative traits, and finally make the trait point exactly 0. Spending money will increase the consumption of consumer goods by the population. Consumer goods are a high-level resource and a collective term, symbolizing technology products and consumer goods that can improve the quality of life of the population. They are also indispensable resources for mental labor professions. Simply put, it is necessary for population maintenance and scientific research. However, the demand for population is relatively small, and the total population in the early stage is not large, and the debuff caused by negative traits is even negligible. The negative impact of frailty has been reduced, as those who fight Star Wars rely on the army. The decrease in labor force resource output has little impact. After all, it is all interstellar civilization, and there is no problem relying on machines for basic labor. Traits. Intelligent, strong reproductive ability, extravagant, and delicate. Click OK. Next step, Wang Hao enters the selection of origin. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. We still don't know the complete list of stars played that day. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. We still don't know all the mods of the stars we played that day. It's so fragrant. What did I do in my previous life? Why are there so many origins of mods? The origin that occupies half of the panel extends down in rows, and the size of the scroll bar on the right indicates that it is just the tip of the iceberg. Fortunately, I used to play with the studio servers, otherwise with so many mods, the CPU would have skyrocketed long ago. Leaving aside the types of mods for now, Wang Hao knows his style and must have thought this way in his previous life. I finally had a long vacation and the idea of using the studio server to play stars, which brings me double the joy. We're all using servers to play games, why not run the epic of the Milky Way with a massive map of 10,000 stars? We have arranged for all the big pictures with 10,000 stars. It's a pity to only play the original version. Adding a billion fun mods is not too much, is it? Even if mod is installed, why not replace the entire set of tens of gigabytes? Very in line with the process. It turns out that before the sudden death of the bladder in my previous life, I thought this way, truly me. Wang Hao suddenly recalled his memories. Considering the issue of mod conflicts, perhaps not all mods were stuffed in, but it was definitely the most capricious time he played. We still don't know all the mods of the stars we played that day. JPG, let me be healthy, this group of stars is developing abnormally. Wang Hao took off his non-existent glasses and smiled. It used to be better to focus on the present than to daydream. Every game should be taken seriously. This is his life creed. At least. That's what I thought when playing the game. Origin, prosperity and unification. Through struggle and victory, this society has achieved the aspirations of every young civilization. A home with a unified goal, a path to the brilliant stars, effect. At the beginning of the game, there are an additional 4 populations and 2 zones, for population refers to the population of 4 units. In different civilizations, the directional meanings of unit and population are different. Prosperity unification is a standard start and also the start with the most player roles. The original version is a good origin, but it is only limited to original versions that do not have mods and will not be considered directly. If you want to choose the most IMBA opening origin. Ring of Fragmentation. This civilization lives in a circular world built by unknown pioneers. Once understood and repaired, they will gain tremendous power. One of the most popular openings in the original version, considering the significance of interstellar wonders, may have unexpected effects on civilization, and is listed as a pending item. Ancestors' Children, requirement. There are no other Ancestors' Children, not available, the origin of K-style cuisine, a fallen vassal. Climb. With mod as the foundation, Wang Hao became more stubborn when speaking, let alone the unusable origin. A serious person, can you be someone else's dog? The person I look down on the most in my 2 lifetimes is the one who eats others' soft food. By the way, those who engage in scientific research do not count. Silently adding a sentence, my gaze continued to wander downwards, drifting past the covers of the origin one by one. Starry Gate, the opening galaxy sends dormant star gates. A legacy of the restoration of the nation, the type of home planet is the beginning of the abandoned planet, and the beginning of the revival of civilization is uncertain. Tree of Life, honeycomb thinking is exclusive to the political system, can this also be chosen? Wang Hao's mind became lively. The origin of the Tree of Life is limited to the honeycomb thinking regime, and the Gestalt consciousness is divided into the honeycomb thinking regime of organic organisms and the mechanical intelligent regime of mechanical organisms. The core of beehive thinking is an unfathomable and grand consciousness, and all populations can be seen as the limb's extension of beehive consciousness. Most civilized individuals only have semi-autonomous consciousness. The unique form of civilization is quite attractive, but let's forget it. I'm not familiar with beehives, and I don't want to go with tentacle monsters. Descendable disaster star, exclusive to rocky life forms. Resource integration, exclusive to mechanical intelligent regimes, with the home planet being a fully mechanized mechanical planet. Is it a mechanical body? Strong, but it's better to be with the tentacle monsters of the hive. Unfortunately, with a sigh, Wang Hao vetoed the mechanical civilization with good strength. The effect is that the home star is about to explode. A quite challenging origin, those who were able to choose this opening must be Gao Wan. I envy you so much, high gameplay and high difficulty, I hope you're okay. Wang Hao symbolically observed a moment of silence for the player who drew the Doomsday origins. Corpse-eating culture, exclusive to the undead race. If there really is a undead race appearing in front of me, either live in a cemetery, go to the zoo, or go to the experimental platform. He doesn't want to be any undead witch king. Returning to the future, ecosystem unification, descendants of the first sun, Zhejiang ethnic group, out of sight, out of mind, God-selected people, dancing with dragons, ocean paradise, ancient knowledge, long evolution, great Khanate, mysterious link, 20 years later, more and more origins overwhelmed Wang Hao. Galactic surveyor, divine revelation, caged star, broken bookshelf, celestial uncle, ancient assembly, gone. Seeing the origin in front of him, Wang Hao seemed to recall something, with a surprised expression on his face. 6 starting with damaged giant structures, including the previous world of the rings, make up 7. No. Wang Hao habitually gets close to the screen and wants to observe more carefully. He quickly controls the interface to slide down. Until the origin of a black planet appeared on the cover, information about its origin quickly surfaced. Birch World. You are a remnant of a long-forgotten civilization, living in a huge birch world built by your ancestors in the galactic core. Requirement. There is an unknown giant structure in the galactic core. Birch World, not available. Birch World is a giant structure built on a massive black hole in the center of the silver, and can be considered a giant structure within the giant structure. Constructing a giant structure on the surface of a black hole, especially since it is still the core of the Milky Way, the technological requirements, construction difficulty, and engineering quantity are all unimaginably high. It scared me to death. It's in an unusable state. If I remember correctly, Birch World is more content for giant mods. In a breath of shock, Wang Hao reached out to his chest and continued to see. Alderson Disk, Macro Ring, Penrose Ring World, many more mega-structured content cannot be used at the beginning. The reason for being unavailable is also the same. It does not meet the conditions for the existence of an unknown giant structure in the Milky Way. I thought it was a direct creation of a civilization with a corresponding origin, but I didn't expect that a civilization that meets the conditions must exist first before players can use the origin. Wang Hao felt that he had discovered certain patterns in the stars. No wonder the mechanism by which the stars began was a random civilization. Until he browsed through the entire list, considering the significance of the giant structure and the situation that each origin would face, his final choice of origin was neither the beginning of the giant structure or the beginning of the special parent star, but rather a unique origin. Isolated Paradise, Isolation Paradise. This civilization lived on the Gaia planet built by unknown pioneers within a star cluster independent of the galaxy, which could only be reached through transitions or stargates. Perhaps this was a paradise specially designed for them. Effect. Born within an isolated star cluster, a star cluster is a galactic companion cluster composed of 10,000 star systems, with an irregular shape and an interior modified by unknown pioneers, filling a large number of Gaia planets. Livable preference set to Gaia planet preference. Other types of planets are not suitable for habitation. Gaia is a heavenly planet with different preferences and adaptability to the environment among different races. Aquatic organisms that love the ocean will be severely negatively affected when they come to arid planets. And Gaia is a paradise for all organic life forms, whether they prefer drought or humidity, high temperatures or extreme cold. It is clearly a type of planet that does not fall under the proper scientific management, and to explain the magical phenomena of Gaia, it may require psychic technology. The two best types of origins in Wang Hao's intention are the origin of the giant structure series and the origin of large isolated star clusters. The isolated star cluster contains a large number of Gaia planets, and in terms of potential, it is definitely better than competing with other players with giant structures. The initial location of the player's civilization is evenly scattered, and the coordinates of the blue star corresponding to the group of stars are in the middle of the 6 o'clock position in the Milky Way, which is directly below the Milky Way. Choosing an isolated origin, he will be independent of the Milky Way and not directly adjacent to other civilizations, naturally having his own private territory. Choosing to be born within the Milky Way not only requires competing with nearby neighbors for the galaxy, but also taking the initiative to engage in early combat, which is unreliable and requires stable development while also guarding against others. So choosing the origin of the giant structure series to stay within the Milky Way is clearly a behavior of young children bringing gold to the bustling market. It's better to be independent and free from the world than to bear the fear of a damaged giant structure in the Milky Way. That's the decision. Farming is the king's way, and war criminals' behavior is not advisable. Don't argue or grab, leave the galaxy to other players first. Gaia planet is 100% livable and has negative traits, not adapted to local conditions, 0.1% adaptability. Should we change these traits? Splendid and Slim each provide +1 trait points, while Disobedient to local conditions can provide +2 traits, 1 for 2. But surreal games are not data games. Will it make the population unwilling to board colonial ships and increase the cost of colonial ships if they are not adapted to the local conditions? We also need to consider the negative impact of enforcement. Forget it, don't change it. Wang Hao shook his head to himself, and both negative traits didn't affect population growth. But it is possible that one cannot adapt to the local conditions. After all, the impact on extraterrestrial planets is indirectly affecting population growth. Anyway, these negative traits are all used for the early stages of transition. In the middle stage, with genetic optimization technology, we can directly eliminate the negative traits of the race. I couldn't make up my mind and decided to stick to conservative ideas without making any changes. Right system, ancient power, this authority has existed since ancient times. There is only one mission, one goal. A leader who leads an empire, if this leader is proven incompetent, another will appear without hesitation. Empire Amendment. Increased administrative management capability, thought, extreme militarism. As a peace-loving farmer, one must possess sufficient force to protect oneself and be able to suppress extraterrestrial threats at critical moments. There is nothing to say about egalitarianism. Any society that refuses to believe in the equality of its members not only seriously lacks justice, but also completely goes astray. National philosophy, ideal original intention, efficient governance of officials, compared to the bonus to civilization, Wang Hao values the implicit influence on civilization more. The ideal intention increases the happiness of the population, but has a higher positive significance for society. Efficient governance enhances administrative capacity and is reflected in the efficiency of various aspects of society. Ruler, name. Tu Lan, random, ruler title. Swordman, the ideal civilization template is ready. Wang Hao clicks, start journey. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Male Mom. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Male Mom. The Gudu civilization has existed in isolated star clusters since ancient times, where they were born, evolved, adapted, rose, and prospered. Invention of writing, unification of systems, emergence of wars, discovery of inscriptions, logging and metallurgy, pursuit of progress, discovery of second monuments in the heavenly environment of Gaia, until stepping into the starry sky. The age of the inscription is so ancient that it is unknown, but its impact on civilization is extremely profound. The first part of the inscription reveals the cause of their home: isolated star clusters. Homeland collides with the Milky Way, the world is engulfed in war, and due to the plunder, the universe is taken away, shaping the stars' solitary battle and being defeated. Therefore, about 10,000 stars come from the Milky Way and are forced to be named after satellites, embellished outside the stars. The next inscription was discovered in a core room of an underground relic in modern times. Based on the analysis of the relic's broadcast signal, 3 identical next inscriptions were discovered within 100 years. It is obvious that unknown pioneers deliberately left certain information for future generations, creating a large number of indestructible stone tablets scattered on countless planets in isolated star clusters. Gudu Star, the capital city. The leader of civilization, the swordsman Tu Lan, stared absent-mindedly at the city below in the sky. The glass corridor in mid-air can be freely overlooked, and the girl in a half-length robe walks and stops, her gaze refocusing on touching her own mirror inside the glass. From the huge clock building in the distance, it can be inferred that it is now early morning on January 7, 2200 in the Milky Way calendar. The 2200 of each era in the galactic calendar is the beginning of a special cycle. The process of Gudu's civilization, as announced in the second part of the inscription, is ready to take the first step towards the Starry Sea. Just wait. The concept of Gudu's civilization is projected onto the material world. In the stone tablet, the incarnation of civilization is equivalent to the admission ticket to the galactic chasing deer of this era. They were born in isolated star clusters and had a natural expectation for the Milky Way hanging in the starry sky. The lonely star cluster only has tens of thousands of stars, while the surrounding Milky Way galaxy has billions of stars. The advancement of technology and the observation of the starry sky have made the Gudu civilization increasingly focused on the vast stage of the Milky Way. Following the ancient instructions, if the incarnation of civilization really appears, it will be a strong shot in their belief in crossing the Milky Way. The fleet, research and exploration ships, and engineering ships have yet to depart, and the people are all waiting for a miracle. However, the results that have been eagerly awaited for several days are disappointing. The date specified by the galactic calendar algorithm through the inscription has passed 6 days, but the incarnation of civilization has yet to arrive. A small number of people have begun to doubt the absurdity of the concept of civilization incarnation, the correctness of the cosmic law of civilization incarnation, and even whether they will really leave isolated star clusters. Tu Lan felt restless when she remembered the hesitant attitude of the cabinet yesterday, even though everyone knew the importance of stone tablets in the history of civilization. Civilization cannot wait any longer. Even if civilization does not incarnate, I will still lead Gudu's civilization out of this isolated star realm. It seemed that Tu Lan had made up her mind and punched herself in the glass. She did not doubt the accuracy of the information on the stone tablet, as it was a legacy left by the pioneers and a revelation for the future generations of civilization in the isolated star region. It is from the remains of the surviving stone tablets that the lonely civilization has deciphered the key to leaving the stellar system. The hyperspace engine. According to their limited understanding of pioneer history, there are billions of civilization incarnations in the Milky Way. Tu Lan patted her cheek to give herself a boost. Come on. It's not a big deal, from star systems to star clusters and then to the Milky Way. With a firm belief in leading civilization towards the stars, Tu Lan walked along the glass corridor towards the central tower. Entering the tower level that marked the public area, you can already see many office workers rushing around, all with the appearance of girls, as if this is the norm of loneliness and civilization. After bowing and returning countless times, Tu Lan finally managed to leave the public area on this floor. After disappearing into this layer for a long time, the two young girls who met Tu Lan up close were excited. It's a sword wielder. Oh my! It's so small, and its majestic appearance is so cute. I can't imagine that Lord Tu Lan could actually win the position of sword holder this time. I really want to have a child for her. The girl on the right immediately became alert when she heard this sentence. Mr. Tu Lan is mine, please crawl away. Do you want a duel? The file monster. What are you saying? The whispers of the two girls grew louder and louder, until the sudden arrival of two hammers made both of them quiet. Tu Lan, who had no idea what his majestic sword-wielder image looked like in the eyes of his two subordinates, turned several times and later moved to his own office location. As usual, Tu Lan reached out and gently pushed open the door, only to see a light floating on the seat of the desk by the window in the room. Head. Sigma, degree, psi. Did you go to the wrong place? Tu Lan quickly took a step back and bumped into the door, tilting her head to look up at the position sign hanging on the door. Swordman. The office of the swordsman, that's right. Tu Lan, who thought she had walked into the wrong office in a daze, let out a long breath. Then he looked puzzled and said, who dares to sit in my seat? My raised seat cushion won't be discovered, will it? Tu Lan decided to give the bold people inside a chance to keep a secret and not be executed. With a serious expression and a majestic aura emanating from his body, he was ready to push open the door and poke his head bald again. Bang dang. Tu Lan pushed away without a hint of heartache. Carefully glanced at the seat, then discovered what kind of bald head this was. It is clearly a large light cluster. Big light cluster. Tu Lan only knew the identity of the light cluster in front of her with a dazed gaze. Emitting a gentle white light that resembled a mother's embrace, the distant morning light cast a halo over him. At first glance, the history and progress of Gudu's civilization seem to be right in front of us. The tall light ball seems to contain the power of bravery and the true meaning of equality. This perfect, familiar, and reassuring atmosphere made Tu Lan blurt out the most intuitive description. Mom. At this moment, Wang Hao is in a daze. As soon as he entered the game, he realized that he couldn't be a human. And before she could adapt to her new bodily senses, a lowly appeared in this room that looked like a conference hall. He looks about 1.5 meters tall, with beige shoulder-length short hair. He is wearing a half-length robe with white as the main color, black contours, and gold trim, covering half of his thighs. The black pleated skirt is hidden inside the robe, leaving only the bottom hem, and there is also a pair of black knee socks. Lowly, who entered again, was only majestic for 3 seconds. Suddenly, her temperament couldn't hold up and she ran over to hug him. During the process of running, still calling yourself Mom. Wang Hao, who has been single for 40 years, couldn't bear this kind of stimulation and instinctively wanted to break free from Tu Lan. But Wang Hao, who had transformed into a big ball of light, had no distinction between limbs or torso. His thoughts flickered to the side as soon as he moved. Tu Lan, still immersed in the excitement of the emergence of civilization projection, pounced directly on the ground. The coldness of the floor instantly woke Tu Lan up, and her rudeness made her worry, even paying no attention to the pain. I was seen impolite just now by Lord Gudu, so I wouldn't be considered an incompetent leader, would I? Is it possible that Lord Gudu was expressing dissatisfaction when he threw me to the ground? My career as a swordsman is about to end at the beginning, woo-woo. The brain was running at high speed, and Tu Lan's face turned red. It seemed that she had already foreseen the tragic outcome after being kicked off the stage. Wang Hao, who is trying to adapt to his new body, is certainly not clear about the girl's brainstorming. Apologetically looking at Su Lan, who couldn't get up, curious. Ah no, I was worried if she might have fainted and couldn't get up. You should know that his race has a delicate negative trait. This little Luo girl looks weak, and it seems impossible to fall into a hospital or something on the ground. After allowing the girl to fall to the ground for a moment, Wang Hao initially adapted to the energy form and planned to test the ability of this body. The ability of idealism. As one's thoughts progressed, the light sphere gradually revealed the contours of a human figure, resembling the real-life appearance in 7 or 8 parts, but only limited to white light outlining the form. The arm composed of light picked up the girl and placed it on the chair, and the fluorescence brushed over the red mark on the healed forehead. Humph, so warm, my heart seems to be melted, and there is a sense of comfort everywhere. Feeling the ubiquitous itching of wound healing, Tu Lan couldn't help but murmur softly. Wang Hao noticed the girl's open eyes, and the two of them remained silent for a long time, with their big eyes facing their small eyes. The white incarnation should not have shown any emotions, but at this moment it also revealed a bit of silence. Why does this girl look so familiar? Wang Hao stared intently at the young girl, his figure drifting backwards, constantly adjusting his angle to observe in the room. It wasn't until the girl and the figure in his impression slowly overlapped that he finally remembered. It must be the pot of cute mods. Wang Hao drifted back and forth in the room, muttering inexplicably. Perhaps due to her identity, Tu Lan decided to take the initiative to greet after experiencing initial nervousness. I am Tu Lan, the sword wielder of Gudu's civilization. Welcome to your arrival, the embodiment of civilized will. Gudu Lord. I thought. You left us behind. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Integrating Scientific Research. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Integrating Scientific Research. I lost my way on the path of civilization and was delayed for a few days. Wang Hao didn't expect that just a few hours late, the civilized child would be like a lost mother's child. After some thought, he gave her an explanation to reassure her. You can understand it as a problem of time difference between two spacetimes, where a few days' error is just a snap for us. There is a reality of a 1.30 flow velocity and a group of stars, and it seems that there is a time difference, which is not a problem. In the future, occasionally disappearing offline for a few days can also be explained by this explanation. Speaking the truth can also be blocked by the game, so it's better to find a reliable reason. Really, I see. Tu Lan quickly looked up and smiled, accepting the explanation. Gudu is equivalent to the embodiment of civilization, which does not lie to its own children. Therefore, Gudu is equivalent to a mother who does not lie. Mothers will definitely not deceive their children. Stop it. Don't call me mother. 3 question marks popped out of his head, and Wang Hao quickly corrected Tu Lan's address to him. In terms of gender, he should also be called his father, but when he thought of billions of people calling him his father, Wang Hao was not a good person. It's more reasonable to use the name of the empire to refer to the embodiment of civilization. You can call me Gudu. Tu Lan nodded to show understanding, but her expression was somewhat regretful. Yes. Lord Gudu, the sword-wielder Tu Lan follows your instructions. Everyone is eagerly anticipating your arrival. Civilization and all interstellar things are in full swing. It's time to tell the public about your arrival and start our interstellar era. Without worrying about the issue of titles, Tu Lan quickly entered the state of work and reported on the current situation of Gudu's civilization one by one. In the stone tablet, the embodiment of civilization is described as having the ability to lead the rapid prosperity of civilization and perceive the discordance of the empire. No one can understand the Gudu Empire better than the incarnation of civilization. Paired with the stars panel, Wang Hao quickly gained a deeper understanding of the Gudu civilization. With the discovery of hyperspace lanes and the development of hyperspace engines, civilization has now officially entered the interstellar stage. The space station on the orbit of a star officially represents the sovereignty of the Gudu galaxy. Gudu star, also known as the home planet of civilization, currently has a population of 28 and 1 unit of slum population cannot be used. 29 standard units of population, equivalent to a total population of 2.9 billion. Several divisions on the planet provide occupations for housing and production resources. The space station is home to 3 military warships the size of frigates, with standard initial armaments. A research ship, a space engineering fleet. A fairly concise description for the volume of the entire civilization. After a brief familiarization, Wang Hao's mind slightly heated up. Although this body had no brain, the miracle of holding on to life. The feeling of civilization. Gave him an indescribable spirit. Following the feeling of the previous game, skillfully click on the research ship to investigate nearby galaxies, X. Because the Gudu civilization was born in the direction of the outer ring at the top of an isolated star cluster, the X galaxy is also the only hyperspace passage for the Gudu galaxy to reach other star systems. Before long, the phone in the office rang rapidly. Tu Lan reported the brief situation of the empire and waited for instructions. When she saw Wang Hao nodding at her, she took a step forward to answer. The microphone sound was very low, but thanks to the idealistic senses of the energy body, Wang Hao quickly understood that the other side of communication came from the starry sky and was one of the leaders of scientists, Kexi. The overview system interface quickly found the content of leader, and Pace is currently one of only 4 scientist leaders. Perth, scientist, trait. Wanderer, this scientist was born to roam the interstellar space. It's really amazing, Tu Lan exclaimed in surprise as she hung up the phone. Perth said that the people on their ship seemed to feel the command from the entire civilization, and then asked me if Lord Gudu had come. I even wanted to personally tell Perth this good news. Seemingly waiting for Wang Hao's response, Tu Lan looked at him with a bright and lively expression. But the other person was just listening, their eyes fixed on a certain direction of the air, and they didn't notice the look she was looking forward to. Do the three major faculties of the Empire have any recent research topics? Wang Hao furrowed his non-existent eyebrows. Just opened the system interface, and the operation of arranging scientific research projects did not proceed smoothly, which made him somewhat puzzled. The physics department, social science department, and engineering department all reflect a state of no-target research, and the positions where the three research options should have existed have nothing. Is there no way to conduct scientific research? This is not good enough. You should know that the essence of Starry is a game of increasing population and climbing technology, and being stuck in scientific research is very uncomfortable. Research topic. I'm looking for it. Tu Lan didn't understand why the topic was so deflected, but she still found a file on the cabinet on the side of the office. The Physics Research Institute currently has 13 large-scale projects under study, including quantum theory exploration and optimization of star map applications. The Social Research Institute currently has 9 large-scale projects under study, including space cultivation optimization and genetic measurement engineering. The Engineering Research Institute currently has 21 large-scale projects under research, including new mining robots and single-person emergency aircraft. The more Wang Hao listened, the more strange it became. In his past life impression, the three major scientific research forces of civilization were all focused on tackling difficulties. And here, it's not so much about researching technology, it's more about optimizing the existing technology system. However, it's normal to think about it. In surreal games, they won't indicate your research direction, tell you which path is right, and send you to study. There is no eagle sauce here for you to feel across the river, and scientific progress comes from countless trial and error. Fortunately, he still has an impression of certain technologies, such as those that the stars often encounter at the beginning. I want you to integrate the research capabilities of various research institutes and focus your research abilities as much as possible on the same topic. Research on quantum theory by the Institute of Physics, research on biodiversity by the Institute of Society, and research on nanomechanics by the Institute of Engineering. Well, can Mr. Gudu provide a more detailed research direction? The Engineering Institute's projects are okay, while the Physics and Social Sciences Institute's projects only focus on their names and research scope is too broad. Tu Lan wrote several mentioned terms on the desk, hoping to obtain specific information. I don't know. Wang Hao spread out his hands and flew backwards, knowing nothing except for the name of technology. I only understand the names of those important technologies, without direction, details, or content, which require you to study on your own. Okay. I will complete the integration of the civilized scientific research system within this month. Tu Lan nodded helplessly. If you have any further orders, you can come to this office to find me. The administrative tower has specially prepared a room for you, and I will guide you. Tu Lan put down the report in her hand and took the initiative to hold on to a light ball that could barely be called a limb. Wang Hao also allowed her to drag him, but he didn't control his body very well, and his mental state was difficult to move physically, occasionally drifting twice. As the two of them walked out of the room, he also unlocked the second scene in the game. An empty corridor. Is it usually so quiet here? I thought people would keep coming and going, submitting documents and conveying instructions. In the middle of the corridor lay long red blankets that extended to both sides, but no one else could be seen, which was completely different from the scene that Wang Hao had imagined outside the imperial leader's office, with dozens of maids waiting to serve. There will be, but I will only come over after I greet them. If it's not necessary, we will maintain the necessary quietness here. Tu Lan walked into the elevator for a while and then explained, I have my own cabinet, and they organize a lot of information for me every day. Most of the time, I am only responsible for giving directions and giving advice, and for ordinary trivial matters, I only occasionally spot check among a pile of numbers. Compared to submitting documents to convey orders, which can be resolved online, the person in charge of delivering food comes more frequently. The elevator quickly took the two people to move, but not up and down, but shuttle left and right on the same floor. Okay, that's reasonable. Then we're currently in the air at an altitude of a few hundred meters. Wang Hao asked curiously again. I'm not sure. Tu Lan paused and shook her head to answer honestly. I haven't paid attention to these data. The tower was repaired by the previous swordsman. Are you ready to announce my existence to the public? If you need my help, just speak up. That's my job later. Just some images are needed to make anyone who sees you understand your existence. Also, please don't wander around anymore. Let's take a right turn after getting out of the elevator. Let Tu Lan lead her down the elevator and stop in front of a room at the corner several times. Compared to seeing other red wooden doors on the road, this room is more magnificent, with gold and blue patterns dotted on the wooden frame of the red wooden door. This is your room, located in the core area of the tower, but considering the limited space of the tower, it is only 500 square meters. It seems like the space is a bit small, Tu Lan added. If you want a larger space, there are many gardens on the ground to choose from. It's completely enough, even a bit spacious. What's not enough about having such a large space in a compact tower? The administrative tower, which serves as half of the administrative center of Gudastar, is built in the central area of the capital city and is also the core building of the three-dimensional structure of the capital city. Sometimes, the top can even penetrate into the clouds. The shape of the Mitsubishi cone becomes smaller as it moves upwards, and both his room and Tu Lan's office are located in the middle and upper floors. Of course, Wang Hao didn't care about the size of the room. In his previous life, he even lived in the basement and attic. At that time, life was difficult not because of where he lived, but because of poor living equipment and conditions. As long as the functionality is complete and not bad, even snail dwellings and cave dwellings have a unique flavor, let alone here it can be said to have everything. The entire space is divided into several small rooms, which should be designed according to the living standards of ordinary people, although many rooms are not used as energy bodies. Living room, kitchen, dining room, bedroom, game room, bathroom. Tu Lan introduced Wang Hao and then withdrew. After all, she was also a leader of the empire, and with Wang Hao's arrival, there were still many new jobs to do. Taking advantage of his first solitary time in this world, Wang Hao happened to be able to check the chat channels of Blue Star players in the stars, and log into the outside world through the stars. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Super doubling of Kexi Cuisine. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Super doubling of Kexi Cuisine. Each game has its own chat system, and the same goes for stars. Perhaps due to the system's automatic identification of regional zones, there is only one optional channel in the chat channel list called External Chat Room. Before entering the game, Wang Hao learned about the chat room mechanism of the stars in his post. Due to the reason of trying to fit reality as much as possible, most chat rooms are regional, such as name format similar to Fifth Star Area, Hunter Arm General Area Chat Room, and Fifth Star Area, Shield Arm A Area Chat Room. Joined Blue Star Civilization Chat Channel, automatically enter chat rooms outside the Fifth Star Area. Gudu has joined the chat room, Cuisine. Welcome newcomers. Wang Hao, who had planned to only dive and see, was unexpectedly flagged by the system as soon as he entered. Cuisine. Ha. The ID of the newcomer seems a bit familiar. This person. Isn't that the live broadcast? Wang Hao remained silent, remembering his identity as a broadcaster and remaining silent to make himself less eye-catching. Eyes familiar. I know you better. I just sent SC Roast to you in the live broadcast room. Cuisine. Why don't newcomers talk? We'll all be brothers and sisters in the future. Will dreams come true? Will it be because I know your official anchor identity, so I don't want to come out? I remember Ma Dongmei was like this. Will dreams come true? But don't worry, good friend. You won't be able to see chat room content during live broadcasts. Moreover, our official anchor has already been banned. Can live streaming stars still be banned? Aren't the stars the so-called 7+ children's enlightenment puzzle game? Upon seeing this sentence, Wang Hao entered the second world to verify and opened the live broadcast room of Kexi Cuisine, only to find that it had actually been banned. Gudu, the official anchor designated by the government, has been banned by the government. Will dreams come true? He rolled to the origin of his ancestors' children, not born in the 5th star area of Blue Star players. Will dreams come true? During the live broadcast, Kushitsai scaled the map of the star system to the map of the Milky Way and found that his birth point was at 3 o'clock in the Milky Way, near the fallen empire, and he was then banned. K-style cuisine. Just a reminder, this is not called being banned, it is an increase in confidentiality level. Do you understand promotion and salary increase? Press any power off button to start the game. Can you go out and strip the skewers with me now? Press any shutdown button to start the game. After all, you are the only player born in the Outland that has been discovered so far, with proper live coordinates. TSK. Press any shutdown button to start the game, in a few words, directly expressing the clear situation of K-style cuisine losing its freedom. Perhaps it was the term living coordinates that pricked the K system, but he quickly typed back to refute it. K-style cuisine. What I lost was only a brief moment of freedom, but what I got was a super doubled soft rice. Can you do it? Press any shutdown button to start the game. Yes. Will dreams come true? Yes, skirt owner. Yes, Ma Dongmei. Yes, Ku-style dishes. Repeated readings revealed more than 10 divers, but Kushitsai remained silent. Accustomed to it. Why be stubborn about life? He is now considered half the oddball in the group. Except for him, all players from other regions have not yet exposed their birth points, and his fate has alerted everyone. Compared to the benefits gained, the constraints of losing freedom are even more unacceptable to everyone. After all, for the Blue Star faction, each enclave civilization can play a strategic role during times of war. Building a star gate can directly penetrate the enemy's rear, and it is only natural that the K-type vegetables will be closely watched by the Federation. Before players from other extraterrestrial enclave civilizations are discovered, he will be the only enclave in the eyes of the Federation. Coupled with his loose and casual personality, this is why K-style cuisine did not expose the chat rooms outside the domain, and it is also the tacit understanding between him and other members of the chat rooms outside the domain. As for what others think, are they unwilling to be constrained? It's just that the price is not enough, and if you want to sell at a more critical moment, it has nothing to do with him. Have others been careful whether they can make me eat less 2 bowls of noodles or sleep on the street? Thinking of this Graham-style dish, silently leaving the chat room and continuing to learn the newly acquired internal materials. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Gudu, you are the 21st player in our chat room outside the domain. Being able to appear here indicates that your birthplace is also outside the 5th star zone. The 5th star area refers to the birth area of our Blue Star players. If we compare the Milky Way to a circle, the 5th star area represents a sector from 5 o'clock to 7.30 o'clock. This is also the protected area for Blue Star players for 20 years, and the other 4 new generation civilizations in the Milky Way have entered the stars several years earlier than us. There is one thing about Ku-style cuisine that is quite good. In the future, everyone will be in a difficult situation. Although we cannot trade many resources, it is still necessary to exchange information. Skirt owner. Everyone should help each other spiritually. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Shut up. Let me introduce the new players first. Skirt owner. Can't you just give him the internal forum activation code? After a moment of silence, he issued a series of activation codes. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Activation code. Only available for players to watch on Gudu. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Log into the second world in stars, with built.in encryption, so you don't have to worry about being found along the network cable. So convenient. Comes with built.in encryption effect. Wang Hao's eyes suddenly lit up. In his original plan, he did not plan to enter the internal forum, fearing that he would be listed along the internet cable. There are plenty of useful resources in player forums, but it's not enough to make it difficult to play games without them. Knowing that the stars also have information protection functions naturally eliminates concerns. Skirt owner. Just a reminder, don't expose the existence of our chat groups outside the domain. Will dreams come true? Yes, be wary of those politicians. Ma Dongmei. Those politicians will gather young and beautiful bad women day and night to squeeze and retain you, just to make your civilization a coordinate. Even if they create the Star Gate and directly annex your territory, it is not uncommon. Do I understand now? After not paying attention to the strange words of the group members, Wang Hao replied and exited the chat room. Log into the Second World Star Forum, and the exclusive forum for players is very prominent on the homepage. Anyone who enters the universal version of the Star Forum can notice it as long as their vision is normal. With curiosity in mind, he entered the activation code. Although he didn't know how stars could mask the network signal in his game cabin, the verification was quickly completed after flashing several times. The unlocked interface quickly appeared in front of me, with prominent posts on the top of each partition and the main area. Flexible application of leader interface, traditional module reasoning, talking about fashion, acquisition and use of cohesion, how to use scientific research systems, role and acquisition of various resources. The discussion post looks full of content, and you can roughly understand the progress of the players by looking at the title. Various speculations about the stars overwhelmed Wang Hao. After randomly clicking on a post related to scientific research and spending 10 minutes reading it, Wang Hao felt that he had benefited a lot. The one-stop service of data, speculation, and argumentation in the article directly leads to conclusions. The experts are among the people, and I'm still guessing how to start scientific research. I didn't expect someone to directly push out the mechanism based on the information collected. Some lucky players, the civilization research mode is inherently focused on tackling the same technology. But more players are dispersed, with each of the three major scientific research departments researching complex projects, which further exacerbates the already limited scientific research capabilities of civilizations. Not all technologies can be systematically recognized. In order for a player's technology panel to function properly, 2 points must be met. One is to concentrate research efforts, with physics, social sciences, and engineering departments each focusing only on one technology. The second is to select the right technology for research and at least gain systematic recognition. After satisfying 2 points, players can see the expected time required for technological research, research speed bonuses, and technological effects. The research and development of a technology requires investment in research points, and it is not considered completed until the progress bar is full. Research points can be considered as a resource output, which can be understood as the digitalization of the scientific research power of civilization. The research costs required for different technologies vary, and the level of civilization's understanding of technology also affects the demand for research sites. For example, when developing technology that has been reversed, if civilization has a clear understanding of the principles and applications of technology, then technology only requires basic points. On the contrary, vague and unclear research directions will increase the difficulty coefficient of scientific research. For example, he only gave his subordinates a technological name and let the scientific research forces of civilization conquer the research topic. But this is just an inevitable small issue. Wang Hao played with the stars for thousands of hours in his previous life, and most of the key technology names can be remembered. Spending more time on the right path is better than blooming on the technology tree of civilization. The worst situation that players will encounter is that civilization only continuously optimizes its existing knowledge system, with little progress in exploring new knowledge, and the embodiment of civilization does not understand what to study. At this point, even the scientific research of civilization has come to a standstill. The long-term vicious cycle can even lead to a decline in the vitality of civilization, a loss of popular support, a shift in focus, contradictions and efficiency, and the phenomenon of technological regression and institutional decline. Nowadays, there are more than 10 announced technologies in the technology zone, which can be displayed on the player's research interface, allowing them to know the needs and progress of research points. The first suggestion for players in the post is to integrate the scientific research power of civilization. The second suggestion is to refer to the technology tree in the technology zone. At the same time, the poster is also requesting others to share their knowledge of technology. After reading the entire article with millions of likes, Wang Hao flipped through the comments section and pondered for a long time. Canner. Thank you for sharing with the big shot. I almost got off to a fork in the road, ban expert. Good people live a safe life, thank you to the big shots for their contributions to civilization, Bear Slayer Bald Strong. I have a technology, ecological simulation, here that increases food production. It has been uploaded to the technology tree. Mysterious Meow. I hope civilization can go further and further, and I hope everyone is well in 20 years. Millions of likes and millions of comments. Without a doubt. Most people are working hard to contribute to Blue Star. How many players have read this article? The comments are mostly positive encouragement and effort. Yes, under external pressure, it is easy for humans to unite and strive together, which is the current trend. In other words, everyone is a community with a shared future and has the same aspirations. A common external threat, coupled with rewards for tentacles, can even earn lifespan from the stars. I'm afraid many people will go crazy and dance in it, but if we want to secure Zhai's interests, no, I can't think that way. Wang Hao shook his head fiercely. Playing games for utilitarianism is not my nature. I need to play with heart and have fun. He is very simple. Honest, friendly to others, never lying, and never causing trouble. Although it does not harm others, the heart to prevent others is indispensable, and it is necessary to guard against the Federation with one hand. Well, it's more or less my own home in this lifetime. Although I may be in decline, I still have to firmly stand in the Blue Star position. This has nothing to do with the attitude and policies of the Blue Star Federation towards players, it is only about having the player's identity while taking responsibility. Or in other words, he also hates taking responsibility, but can do things that meet the definition of identity responsibility while also making himself happy. Spiritual light flashed through my heart, like a realization of blessings to the soul. Civilization is not something that can be represented by any ruler or policy. It originated from the surging historical rivers on the earth, carrying the expectations of generations of people and flowing into the starry sky, shining and beautiful like this Milky Way. This is a patriotic war in the game. It has a morale boost. Wang Hao's unbridled tightening in his eyes, fascinated by the vision of prosperity and civilization over time. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Everyone has a bright future. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Everyone has a bright future. The number of technologies in the research area is so small that Wang Hao can see his head at a glance. Planetary unification. Origin, prosperous unification, provides initial technological advancements, while Origin, Tyrant's Revolution, has studied technology. Destroyer. Origin, Global War, has been studied in technology. Robot labor. Origin, Mechanists, have researched technology. Spiritual theory, dynamic exoskeleton, ecological simulation, hydroponic agriculture, orbital residential station, position modulation, geothermal hydraulic fracturing, managerial artificial intelligence. There is a wide range of scientific and technological names, research directions, expected results, and research processes available for reference. By reading it once, scientists can understand how to study, which can be considered a blessing for lazy people and vegetable chickens, and it is extremely convenient. The sources of technology also reveal a lot of information. Probably due to the beginning of the game, 9 out of 11 technologies are all included in the Origins bonus. Most players are either integrating research or walking the path of integrating research. Even if they have the intention to fill the technology tree, they have no channels to understand technology. The change in the scientific research mode involving the entire civilization requires different times for different civilizations, and it can be foreseen that it will not be too short. But this kind of behavior is necessary, otherwise the system will not recognize your research mode, and you will not be able to derive known information from the feedback of the system interface, as others have panels that you do not have. Fortunately, his Gudu's civilization has the concept of efficient officials, and the integration process is extremely fast. This month, the scientific research integration can be completed. After the integration is completed, Wang Hao can also see the information of the 3 technologies he has arranged. In memory, quantum theory can increase the output of physics research points, ecological diversity can increase the output of social science research points, and nanomechanics can increase the output of engineering research points. The memory of a past life needs to be verified to ensure accuracy. After all, he will not know which things will be altered beyond recognition. Once the technology is displayed on the panel, the effect will be known. I hope the changes won't be too significant. Wang Hao frowned and muttered to himself. If the effect of technology remains unchanged, then the reference value of technology in his memory will be very high. At least there's no need to worry about not finding the right direction. At first, I only mentioned the name, technology, to Toulon, and asked them to research whether it would be too difficult to be human, but I am not sure about the more specific content. Just mentioning the name will undoubtedly significantly increase the difficulty of scientific research. He has a strong sense of belonging to the first party, giving you the name of the technology without any specific ideas, and then asking the second party to research the entire technology. However, everything is worth it. Farming should have the appearance of farming, and the earlier you research this technology that can snowball, the better. There will be more of this kind of thing in the future, and they need to adapt as soon as possible to these good days when someone provides research directions. After giving a thumbs up for his wit, Wang Hao left the research area and learned knowledge from various player posts. The content of the introduction post in the resource area was very ordinary and did not surprise him. The commonly used resources for players are divided into 7 types: energy, minerals, food, consumer goods, alloys, cohesion, and research points. Missing the resources he had in his impression of influence. The role of energy minerals in food can be seen literally. Consumer goods are used for population maintenance and scientific research maintenance. Alloy can be used to build fleets. Research points are a reflection of civilized scientific research capabilities. And cohesion is an elusive resource that can be used to unlock tradition. It is worth mentioning that the currency of the stars store is exactly cohesion. Traditional culture can provide various bonuses for civilization, which can be analyzed in more detail in the traditional area. Civilizations such as pacifism can unlock prosperous traditions through cohesion, star sea travelers can automatically unlock and explore traditions, and corporate governments can unlock up to 7 economic and trade traditions. Each civilization has its own path, and everyone has a bright future. Wang Hao calmly glanced at his traditional choice and then looked at screenshots of others. Well, his future is a little brighter than everyone else, it's so strange, take another look. Probably a mod with more traditional and soaring features. With so many slots, it has broken through the screen display. Just wait for the cohesion to be in place to adopt tradition 1 in 100, and there is no quantity limit. Adaptation, diplomacy, exploration, domination, expansion, barriers, harmony, macro crown project, economy and trade, prosperity. There are countless traditions that others can choose from, and there are generally only 2 or 3 isolated traditions. It should be some kind of unlocking condition restriction, and he has been cheating. Perhaps I should change my ID to the chief disciple of the Wind Spirit Moon Shadow sect. Roast about a word that no one in this field can listen to. Wang Hao looked carefully and instantly transformed into an elderly subway face. There are a total of 75 traditions, and even if I memorize them one by one, I don't know which one to choose. If you really want to compare which tradition is better, you must be tormented by yourself. The situation of soaring is also like this, it really makes people unable to sleep horizontally and vertically. Ah, Wang Hao let out a long sigh, no longer struggling with the problem. He can click whichever can increase output. Farmer soul. Farming is a good civilization. As long as it can increase resource output value, regardless of tradition, technology, or soaring, it is the top priority. False extreme military state. Always thinking of war, the true extreme military state. Farming and exploding everything. Perhaps the true description of his development strategy would be this sentence. After farming for 100 years, I shook the galaxy once I made a move. The love of peace among P players is not just a boast. If they don't make a move, they will make a difference. Those who lose in battle are called war criminals, and those who win are the Supreme Emperor who arrives at the faithful galaxy. After reading the traditional section, I scrolled through page after page of posts. Suddenly, an article about body control entered Wang Hao's eyes. The form control of civilization incarnation. Interestingly, how can I play with this energy body? The article first focuses on describing the concept of civilization incarnation and the characteristics of energy bodies, combined with several days of experimental data from the poster, analyzing the nature of idealism and inferring the limits of abilities. When controlling the body, your mental power is very important, which can be further understood as imagination, willpower, and judgment ability. There is a lump of soil in front of me, use your imagination. Dang dang. It has become a sculpture. Your empire is an interstellar civilization that can leap over the stars, and you are the embodiment of civilization and an energy body with no physiological needs. You should be able to travel the starry sky with your own strength. Unfortunately, the perception of vision and temperature makes me instinctively afraid of the sun and unable to stick to it. The poster explains the methods of controlling the body through game screenshots and text. After briefly flipping through the comments, Wang Hao also casually liked and started practicing in the room. It wasn't until an event suddenly popped up on the game panel that he stopped feeling unsatisfied. The arrival of civilization. Since the first discovery of the Pioneer Monument, the concept of civilization has spread to the budding nations. With the past history of star clusters, the generous home planet Gaia, and explosive technological advancements, the Empire has now become a space traveler eager for further progress. Just as the monument reveals the laws of the universe, Guru will eventually lead us to the pinnacle of civilization. Our era has begun. Effect. Obtain correction. Civilization fever, lasting for 10 years, civilization fanaticism. What did Toulon do? Why did she buff me in just half a day? Using the newly learned ability, Wang Hao's white light partially scattered into the space, causing a momentary daze in his consciousness. Nearby lifeless entities have turned into black-gray lines, and each light dot represents an individual member of a civilization. The spirit gathers in the room below, and relevant information comes to mind. The room where civilized consciousness resides. Search. Sword wielder Tu Lan. The information from the trajectory of civilization made Wang Hao look into the high room. The cabinet meeting room. A flickering figure disappeared out of nowhere. Meeting room regarding the gladiatorial frenzy. Lord Gudu. The sudden appearance of the light person in the conference room startled Tu Lan. She put down the document in her hand, both greeting and gesturing to each member. Master Gudu. The cabinet members attending the meeting heard Tu Lan's address and stood up with a loud salute to Wang Hao. His eyes were filled with excitement, respect, and fanaticism, as if he was ready to sacrifice for him at any time, which made Wang Hao very uncomfortable. Does Lord Gudu have something to say? Saying to leave directly indicates the need for a private environment. Or maybe it's actually not satisfied with the accommodation, and it's not easy to speak up in front of everyone. Anyway, let's get rid of them first. Tu Lan observed the words and expressions of De Guangqiu with a calm and indifferent tone, gesturing for the others to leave. Just hold the gladiatorial carnival as usual, this meeting will come here first. Without much words, everyone saluted the two and began to pack up their documents. With more than 10 female cabinet elders present leaving, the vast meeting room became empty. Tu Lan quickly showed a familiar smile and approached to greet. Do Lord Gudu think living here is still suitable? With a heart, I really like the living environment of humanoid people. Wang Hao nodded and said, I just felt some changes in civilization, so I came to ask you. Change. Tu Lan quickly realized. Is it because of my decree a few hours ago? Indeed, he has something to say to me privately, he has me in his heart. Tu Lan's face remained unchanged as she pondered. It's a benign change called civilization fanaticism, it seems you're doing well. The buff of civilization fanaticism can provide a small amount of resource output, as well as an increase in cohesion output. There is no specific value, but the green text on the correction panel also indicates a positive buff. As if receiving praise, Tu Lan walked forward and took Wang Hao's hand, blinking coquettishly. Got it. Big and white. Such a warm Gudu adult. I just told the people the fact that you appeared with some rhetoric. Speaking of which, it's thanks to your status in those children's hearts. The initial feedback is quite good. Wang Hao noticed his hand being pulled and thrown, and lowered his head to look at Tu Lan's shining eyes. Just now, when facing his subordinates, he was as confident as he was, looking like a leader with a strong demeanor. I saw him privately and called him Gudu, but he was completely mistaken for his mother. I awkwardly reached out and touched Tu Lan's beige hair. Ha! It's quite comfortable, let's touch it again. With his hands crossed over Tu Lan, Wang Hao asked curiously. Why didn't I see any men in the cabinet just now? Are they all family cooks? Male. What male? Tu Lan raised her puzzled little face with a puzzled expression. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. The Story of Wu Ji. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. The Story of Wu Ji Deng Deng Dong. Wang Hao's heart thumped. He realized where the problem lay. Despite having short hair and a flawless appearance, there was always a feeling of being treated like a mother. Do you know what father is? Wang Hao asked tentatively. Father. Tu Lan shook her head, I've never heard of a word before. That's it, it's strange. There's something wrong with this civilization. How to develop a population without men, cute, you do all the bad things. If you are asking about gender, Lord Gudu, there is indeed only one gender in our civilization. Although I couldn't understand the meaning of the words, Tu Lan still understood his meaning. There are many bisexual organisms, females and males, in the planetary ecosystem. Do you know how you were born? Wang Hao asked seriously. The matter is of great importance. If he doesn't solve the problem of population growth clearly, he has no intention of doing anything. If the system generates a civilization like a castle in the air, with only the present and no natural reproduction of the past. So. It can still be saved. Can't send it. Wang Hao thinks he's okay. It seems that Tu Lan's face turned slightly red because the topic was moving towards our 17.9. My biological mother is in the hospital. What I mean is, if there is only one gender, how can civilized members reproduce? Wang Hao asked directly. Ah. Seeing his serious appearance, Tu Lan seemed to realize something, recalling what she had learned at the military academy. If you are asking about parthenogenesis and bisexuality, good people have parthenogenesis and can reproduce one or two offspring. Upon hearing the answer, the stone that Wang Hao had raised in his heart finally came down. Rest assured, there is no need to rest in peace. Unisex reproduction. Unisex reproduction of higher intelligent organisms. All girls Menghua bag, done well, you did well. Pressing down the raised corners of his mouth, Wang Hao manually adjusted his smile. Fortunately, he was a light person who couldn't see his face clearly, and Tu Lan didn't pay attention to his movements either. Oh, by the way, what was the gladiatorial frenzy you just talked about? I'm curious. That's our tradition. The girl's expression clearly became excited, as if she was very happy. Whenever major events occur or every 5 years, we will hold a gladiatorial carnival, in accordance with tradition, with the participation of the whole population. There are various forms both online and offline, including combat, ordnance, vehicle warfare, flag grabbing, encounter warfare, and offensive and defensive warfare. By the way, I won 9 gold medals in the previous competition. Oh. Wang Hao looked at Tu Lan, who had a body size between lowly and a girl. There is tremendous energy hidden within her small body, but remembering her traits as a ruler makes everything reasonable again. Tu Lan, ruler, characteristics. Reformer, belligerent, this leader is committed to building a better tomorrow society and is not afraid of battle. This is a grand event, are you coming? Tu Lan's eyes were filled with anticipation. I will go when I have time, Wang Hao replied ambiguously, waving his hand. I'll go back first. I usually don't need to walk around, you can come to me if you need anything. This time I was looking for Tu Lan just because of the civilization fanaticism issue, and unexpectedly experienced the ups and downs of the reproduction problem. Wang Hao has already planned to go back. Immediately, the white wave flashed by and disappeared in place, leaving Tu Lan alone with wild thoughts. Entered chat room outside the 5th star area. Gudu has joined the chat room. Kushir Kai. Brother Gudu, you're back. How did you get? When Wang Hao came in, Kushir Kai was leisurely blowing water when he noticed that Gudu was the first to greet him. After careful consideration, Wang Hao replied with a fair and accurate typing. Gudu, one person counts the short, 100 million people count the long, and they have benefited greatly. Now they feel good. Press any shutdown button to start the game. It's also because you came late. In the first 2 days of opening the server, you didn't have so much practical knowledge. It's not that other players are asking questions, it's just showing off the origin of the race concept. Co-style cuisine. When I saw those special origins, I envied them for a long time. Can dreams come true? Sigh. Didn't you just appear on the stars yesterday? Can dreams come true? I feel like I've caught a blind spot. Everyone first logs into the group stars and then logs into the player forum through the group stars, but based on time, the K-style dishes arrived last night. Skirt owner. That's why this silly batch was caught. Mysterious meow. Xiaoka's Cuisine and the Mind Water Group may also be enjoying the care of a close maid when under house arrest. The words of the group members were full of ridicule, and Kushitsai reluctantly responded. K-style cuisine. It would be great if there were any maids, just tools. I would be satisfied if I could buy some lifespan from the store in my lifetime. Anyway, I don't have to worry about food and drink, just put it on. Skirt owner. Shipping under Big Ben. Top up, bottom down. Ma Dongmei. Send it. Baiki Quan Shu. Pendulum. Empire Pancake. Send it out, dot. A series of C language scrolls across the screen, and group members who understand in seconds continue to receive more than 10 messages. Will dreams come true? Well. Speaking of the store, are there any good things you have refreshed daily recently? K-style cuisine. I have seen a lifespan of 1 year, and the first purchase only requires 1K cohesion. Press any shutdown button to start the game. I drew a prosperous tradition in the Star Store today. Screenshot. JPG, perhaps it was due to the low probability of breaking away from tradition that the three of them reacted when they heard someone draw prosperity. Kexi Cuisine. What? Ma Dongmei. What European dog? Complete book of Baiki. Kick off, share what's interesting about us African people. Press any shutdown button to start the game. How dare you say that? Which one here is not born out of the region with extraordinary luck, and this topic was not brought up by you first? Press any power off button to start the game. Originally wanted to complain like this, but considering how many people there are, they didn't say it. Gudu, even if I brush it out, I don't have the cohesion to buy it. Seeing Gudu's behavior of eating spears to get rid of everyone, he quickly agreed. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Yes. That's right. I not only have to watch the product expire, but also get scolded, it's too painful. Gudu, so we are half brothers and half brothers with different parents. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Yes. That's right, brother. Press any shutdown button to start the game. No, what do you mean by that? Press any shutdown button to start the game. Suddenly reacted and realized that things seem to be getting worse. How could you become a difficult brother and a difficult brother? Suddenly, the screen shook and the group members sent out a large picture, bouncing and occupying half of the screen. Gudu. Screenshot. JPG, Store, Fashion. Unity, 10K cohesion, Technology black box, 2K cohesion, 1 year lifespan, 1K cohesion, Civilization incarnation ability. Manifestation, basic, 10K cohesion, Gudu. Big shots, these things are so expensive. Dot. Silently closing Gudu's store list screenshot, he opened his own store again. After a while, with a sigh, the prosperous tradition above suddenly faded away. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Brothers, there's a dog. But I won't say who it is. Ma Dongmei. Look at his store list, envy me. I exchanged it for Yangshuo. Lifespan is a good thing, whoever uses it first will leave first. Kushir Kai. It's okay, he can't change again. Forget it, don't pretend, I'm just sour. Skirt owner. Gudu is so lucky, and Roll's civilization is also very good, isn't it? Will dreams come true? I'm also a bit curious. Speaking of which, we haven't introduced ourselves to Gudu yet. If we were assigned to a chat room, we could become classmates and comrades in the future. Self.introduction. Wang Hao felt somewhat surprised. I thought everyone in the group would cover up. It seems that sharing information with each other is not just empty talk. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Then let me do it first. It's fate for the 21 of us to be in the same chat room. Maybe we'll have to fight side by side in the future. Press any shutdown button to start the game. My civilization name is press any shutdown button to start the game. Civilization, extreme authoritarianism plus military power, origin, cut off, on the 12 o'clock azimuth arm of the Milky Way. Will dreams come true? Dream civilization, origin, abandoned ring, extreme pacification, foreigners, philosophy, diplomatic mission, free shelter, 10 o'clock position, Southern Cross arm, press any shutdown button to start the game. Why is the name of your empire not an ID? Will dreams come true? Ha! Don't you know that civilization names can be changed? Surprise! JPG, press any shutdown button to start the game. Kexi Cuisine. Kexi Cuisine civilization originated from the descendants of our ancestors, with extreme idealism, authoritarianism, and the concept of noble sacredness and Corvée system. It is located at 3 o'clock, with the Southern Cross arm, which is actually well known to most of you. Scratching head. JPG, Ma Dongmei. Ma Dongmei civilization, origin, exiles, 2 o'clock position, bottom arm, skirt master. Skirt master civilization, exclusivity, militarism, materialism. I can be considered the closest flying ground of Li civilization. At 8 o'clock, the arm of the immortal. Everyone took turns introducing themselves, and from time to time, some group members were taken out by ET. Even a few people who had never seen anyone speak jumped out. Wang Hao has gained a detailed understanding of the civilizations of other people and is able to explore various exotic origins born outside the region, which has especially broadened his horizons. Some origins and concepts have never been heard of at all. It seems that the mods added in the previous life are still not enough. Exclaim at the richness of the content of the group of stars, the other 20 people have already finished introducing it. It's his turn. After a brief thought, Wang Hao decided to be honest with everyone. Gudu. Gudu civilization, originating from isolated paradise, extreme pacifism, materialism. Empire type. Federal builder. Institutions, democracy, concepts, pastoral songs, environmentalists, race, human, trait, thrift, frailty, located outside the Milky Way, isolated star clusters, Gudu. Please give me more guidance. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Love and Peace. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Love and Peace. Will dreams come true? Extreme pacifism. Our thoughts are the same. My empire is a peaceful trader. Complete book of Bai Qi. 3 points of thought, 2 concepts. Surprisingly, another person has a full role. Skirt owner. Oh gone. It's so strange. But in this group, it's normal. K-style cuisine. Is there a possibility that, isolated heaven, can lock in ideas and concepts, just like me, descendants of my ancestors, K-style cuisine. You think, isolating the origin of heaven is a perfect match with an environmentalist civilization that is independent, peace-loving, eager for progress, and lives in the countryside. Will dreams come true? Will there really be such a beautiful civilization? It's like a fairy tale. A skirt owner. I envy you so much, Gudu civilization, take me with you. Mysterious meow. It really matches well. Ma Dongmei. Some civilizations aim for Rome, while others were born in Rome. Ma Dongmei is sour, and his origin is called exile. As the name suggests, a group of refugees fled deep into the air and went through countless dangers before finding a new home. Not to mention being deeply entrenched in the enemy's rear at the beginning, the origin buff is also mixed. Strange and bizarre. Are the Gudu brothers interested in selling their nationality abroad? I'll pack myself and give it to you. Wang Hao felt almost guilty when he saw everyone cooperating so well and believed his words. But it is impossible to disclose, keep a hand in everything, half true and half false. Besides, nonsense is not nonsense. His pacifism and materialism are well-founded, and the adoption of civilized traditions is constrained by the ideological trends and concepts of civilization. Tradition and civilization are not compatible, and if you want to adopt tradition, it cannot be found in the list. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Give you 100 years, you can't do it yourself. Send it over. Strange and bizarre. Ha! Running away is not easy. When one day I can't hold on to this enclave, I'll go join the Gudu brothers. Pinch my waist. JPG, who knows what will happen to these strange stars? One day, if the mother star explodes, you will have to wander the starry sky with a colonial ship, and your teammates can help you survive. It is not shameful to consider defeat before winning. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Didn't you pay attention to his position? Heart tired. JPG, as a cosmic civilization capable of traveling at speeds beyond light, distance is only a matter of time. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Are you chatting with the Crimson King? How did he know I was jumping and watching? Is it difficult for Gudu to be far away from me, just located on the diagonal of the Milky Way? Strange and somewhat incredulous, I slid up and flipped through the records. He was born outside the region. What kind of scene has he never seen before? Even the distance from other players needs to be described in tens of thousands of light-years. Aha, I flipped it over. Peace, materialism. Democracy. Pastoral songs. Frailty. Beyond the Milky Way. Isolated star clusters. Wait. Beyond the Milky Way. Lying down. He has never seen this scene before. Strange and diverse. Isolated star clusters. Outside the Milky Way. Press any shutdown button to start the game. You guys are just looking at the origin and haven't even paid attention to the location. Phooey. JPG, strange and bizarre. I'm sorry, there are billions of star systems in the Milky Way, and the map is too large to make sense even if you look at it. Skirt owner.omega. No one will really watch, no one will. Press any shutdown button to start the game. Hashtag, can dreams come true? I see them, but is there any problem? Press any shutdown button to start the game. Gudu was born outside the Milky Way. Tired, destroy it. From the first day we met, we became brothers, and after getting to know each other, we revealed our true colors. These group friends seem unreliable. The only one who carefully looks at the position is also a silly and sweet person. Gudu, let me explain it myself. Wang Hao could feel the resentment of the shutdown button across the screen, with a hint of shouting emotion between his words. The attention points of other group members were clearly strange, which made him blush, and he planned to explain it himself. He has some understanding of the concept of intergalactic systems and the relationship between star clusters and the Milky Way. As the center of the topic, he also has the final power of interpretation. Gudu, my origin lies within an isolated star cluster located outside the Milky Way. Before discussing an isolated star cluster, it is necessary to first mention the structure of the galaxy. Just as atomic nuclei and electrons make up atoms, the continuous branching of the tree trunk becomes a large tree with lush branches and leaves. Our planetary system, solar system, Milky Way, and local galaxy group are also like this. Planets and satellites make up the Earth-Moon system, stars and planets make up the stellar system, and more billions of galaxies make up the Milky Way. The Milky Way subgroup and the Andromeda subgroup form the local galaxy group. The Milky Way has numerous satellite galaxies, such as the Large Magellanic, and Sagittarius galaxies. The size of an isolated star cluster is far from being considered a galaxy, but it moves around the Milky Way and has neither integrated nor separated. Compared to satellite systems, it is more like a pendant on the Milky Way, as it has been since ancient times. Oh, by the way, civilizations within isolated star clusters are now Gudu civilizations, so calling them Gudu star clusters is also acceptable, or Gudu star clusters. Compared to galaxies and even dwarf galaxies, it is as insignificant as a pebble at its feet. But for us, both inside and outside the Milky Way, we are still light years away from each other, which is the meaning of isolation. There is no hyperspace path between the Gudu cluster and the Milky Way, and conventional methods of superluminal navigation are useless. Perhaps in the future, the Stargate can cross the distance between the two, but Wang Hao did not continue any further, leaving some room for imagination for everyone. You can't speak too firmly, there is no room for improvement, it's just that the technology is not enough. But his meaning has also been expressed, Lonely Star Cluster is just a single-player game. A small area doesn't have good things, and it doesn't have much effect on inserting into the enemy's rear row in war. By the time Wang Hao's village is open to traffic, the land will have been fully enclosed. A good place to make a fortune by keeping quiet belongs to. Even if the information of the group members is exposed one day, they won't do anything to him. Cuisine. ABA Dementia JPG, will dreams come true? I see. I don't understand at all. Mysterious meow. Is there anything else? What galaxies are on the local galaxy cluster? I haven't heard enough of them. Skirt owner. At Cuisine, don't be so arrogant. Have you not learned this from the relevant department? Cuisine. There is information on it, but it's different from what I remember. And it seems to have nothing to do with civilized warfare, right? It's okay. It seems that the concept of interstellar war is not yet profound enough for new scholars, and their sensitivity in various meanings is not enough. Wang Hao remained silent for a moment, massaging his temples with both hands and continuing to ask. Gudu. How do you understand the gameplay of the stars? Will dreams come true? I'll say it first. Will dreams come true? Love and peace. I am in the second star zone and have no direct territorial handover with the blue star civilization. After contact, I engage in cross-civilization trade with them. Engage in trade. Without territorial handover, it means there is no conflict of territorial interests. There is also a foundation for love and peace. The idea is naive, but the feasibility is not low. Stars not only fight and kill, but also prioritize human relationships and interests. Cuisine. Pursuing the footsteps of corruption, following the instructions of officials, and living a worry-free life. Skirt master. I'm surprised. How did you make such a fresh and refined statement about being a dog and eating soft food? Can you have some ambition and learn from me to develop a fleet, waiting for a fight? Ma Dongmei. Guard your hometown well, then fight out. Baiki Quanshu. F2A. Press any shutdown button to start the game. I'm sure I can't beat other players now. I plan to first disrupt and attack guerrillas, and then slowly devour them. Gudu. Besides fighting to build fleets, do you have any plans for the development of civilization? You should know that the stars are a surreal game. Cuisine. I don't know, I'm not sure, I have no plans. The meaning of other people's answers is generally the same, with only a few ideas. The main body of this civilized war game will be fleet duels. The game mechanism is too free and difficult to operate, outsiders should not direct the development of civilization, the entire interstellar situation is also unclear, there are too many unknown plans from the outside world that cannot keep up with the changes. After all, the game content is just beginning to explore, and the outside world's understanding of the stars mostly stays at the concepts of civilization war and game. You should know that most players are just ordinary people. No administrative experience, no war experience, no scientific research experience. In daily life, it is estimated that one can hang out with the stars and spend a few days in a city on the moon. The rapid improvement of various sections in the player forum can only be attributed to a few players. Originally, as a Ku-style vegetable, he had a good chance of knowing more, but his temperament, the situation of his comrade in arms, gave Wang Hao some small ideas. Perhaps I should help them. After all, there are only 20 flying civilizations and 20 strange soldiers in the civilization. I don't want Blue Star to lose the war and become a mine one day. It can also increase the discourse power within the special group of players outside the domain. Although direct benefits may not be obtained in the short term, the investment can be seen as zero cost, and the implicit benefits are also significant. Having made up his mind, Wang Hao sent a message. "Good, perhaps I can give you some suggestions to increase everyone's survival rate." Upon hearing this, everyone in the chat group came to their senses, and Ma Dongmei asked directly. "Ma Dongmei. What advice?" "Good. Disguise as a local civilization that is not a player. Since there is a player civilization within the Milky Way, there will naturally be an AI civilization as well, and the corrupt empire of the K clan is the best evidence. Good. The existence of hidden civilization incarnations, disguised as a civilization naturally developed in this universe. With a certain level of military strength, searching for easy to defend and difficult to attack super time and space channel nodes for defense, as long as the civilizations of the other 4-star regions do not exclude extraterrestrial civilizations, everything can be operated. Recruit civilizations with positive diplomatic postures, improve relations with envoys, use spies to promote public opinion, express friendliness to the outside world, show no intention of deterrence, benefit from alien trade, and lock them in with numerous regulations and agreements. Good. Can you understand what I mean? This game needs to be played this way. On the other side of the chat group screen, Ma Dongmei saw this long string of speeches exploding in C language. I'm C. It looks like a great NB, I've come across Gao to play. Ma Dongmei only felt that the image of Gudu in his eyes had grown taller. It seems that dealing with these civilized political affairs is easy for him, and playing games is just a daily trivial matter. Why is he so skilled? End of this chapter.